Shalom, shalom, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Pulse of Israel here in our eternal and ancestral homeland, in our beautiful, biblical, and indivisible capital, Jerusalem, since King David's time. I am here with a very special guest who you know I love to interview for his really unbelievable, important insight on Islam and the Middle East, because he is an expert on Islam and the Middle East, Dr. Mordechai Kedar. Shalom, Dr. Kedar.
Pleasure to be here, Avi.
We actually had a talk, it's over 2 months ago, must have been around 3 months ago, before the tragedy of October 7th, the horrific tragedy of the massacre, and before the war, where I interviewed you about your personal story, how you were once a very big supporter of the Oslo Peace Accords back in 1993, and yet, over the years, reality smacked you in the face and you ended up turning around and becoming very much against the Oslo peace process. Unfortunately, that video was lost and I was not able to publicize it for everyone, but here I want to take advantage and have that talk with you again. If you could share your process, your personal growth process, how you went from being an actual supporter and you actually started an organization to support the peace process to where you are today.
Well, when the Oslo agreements were signed, I was in the army, I was still in the intelligence, and I relied on Rabin. I was more than sure that if the Oslo agreements are not following the right direction, or will not go in the right direction, he will cancel them. And actually this is what he more or less said to the public. I didn't expect his demise, his death in 1995, and I didn't expect that Peres and Begin, who were the two engines behind the Oslo agreements, will actually take over the state in order to sell it to the Palestinians. That's the first thing. Second thing, I believed in giving peace a chance, because since the PA, or whatever will come, is weak compared to Israel's power,
The Palestinian Authority.
The Palestinian Authority. So if it goes in the wrong direction, Israel will be able to get rid of it in a way or another.
But that's something that Rabin said. If it doesn't work out, we'll go back.
Right. So I said, okay, let's give it a chance. And this is why I supported it. And then, although I had much information about the fact that they were could have actually conned us. Already when I was in the army, I had my doubts, because we heard Arafat saying all kinds of things against it, or that he doesn't really believe in it, all these things, but I some kind of suppressed it in order not to destroy my willingness to give it a chance, to give peace a chance. Because we could, at every point we could cancel it. That's what I thought. And then the big, 1996, I took part in a visit to Gaza by the peace representatives of the
Before
peace.
you go to 1996, you were even, I remember you telling me that you a founder of Netivot Shalom.
I wasn't the founder, I was a member.
Oh, you were a member of one of the peace organizations.
With good friend of mine, Yitzhak Frankenthal, and another one. And then I took part in the activities, or demonstrations. And at some point, one time, we were demonstrating here in Jerusalem, and the demonstration was, nice, big, and very active. So people said, okay, let's gather tomorrow as well, to continue this continuum. So I said I cannot come because tomorrow I have to work. I was then already a teacher at Bar Ilan. So one of the Arab participants came to me and took me aside and says, "What, are you working?" I says, "Of course, what do you mean? We have to live." So he says, "Okay, if you come to all our demonstrations, I will take care of your income, means of your salary." So it was very, strange to me that what, are people coming here to demonstrate for money? Is this real? So I had this doubt about this. Then, in 1996, November, we had a tour to Gaza, and we actually met with Arafat in the Mukata of Gaza. And since I was the only one in the delegation of peace organizations who spoke actually Arabic, they told me to sit near him. So I sat at the head, and then he came in with Nabil Abu-Rdain, his advisor. And when Arafat saw us all, he says, in Arabic, Min Adoli means, who are these? So the Rdain says, they are the peace activists. So, and he blinked to them, peace activists. And so Arafat asked, what should I tell them? So Abu-Rdain says, the regular bullshit. And he was very enthusiastic, peace, and Rabin was my friend, and well, sorry for what happened with Rabin last year. We hope that the peace will come. So I was this is the usual BS. Okay, so I understood Arabic. They did Arafat and Abu-Rdain did not understand that I listen to them and I hear what they say. So, another doubt. Then, the explosions in buses started in 1996 as well. And this really, and the PA didn't do anything against Hamas. After all, they were supposed to act against Hamas without Bagas and without B'Tselem.
Right, that's Rabin's famous line. We did the Oslo Accords because we can't, our high court stopping us from fighting the terrorists, so now we have the Palestinian Authority, they're going to fight the terrorists.
To do the dirty job for us.
Right.
And Arafat did not do the dirty job for us because
he was part of the dirty job.
He was part of it, right. So, and I less and less believed in this, and I kept hearing Arafat saying that the whole peace is temporary peace, Hudaybiyah. And when the second Intifada erupted in late September of 2000, I said the whole thing is a fraud. And now it's the end of the temporary peace which he gave us, because 4 months earlier, he saw how we ran away from Lebanon in such a shameful way. When Barak,
2000, the year 2000.
May 2000, when Ehud Barak was the prime minister, and he drew all the Israeli forces from Lebanon at night, like somebody who was running away from the knives of Hezbollah. And actually Barak abandoned our friends and allies, the Southern Lebanon army.
Christians.
And they Hezbollah could slaughter them all. Thank goodness they didn't do it. And they came to Israel like 3 days later, when the government understood that it cannot abandon our friends and allies who fought for us for many years. And they brought them in, and until this very day they live inside Israel with their rights. So, and then I started to be much more realistic about the Arab world in general and about the Palestinians in particular. And yes, look, Avi, the struggle is not between right and left. It is between right and wrong. Remember it.
I just have one curious question. You have always been an expert on Islam in the Middle East. So how did you allow yourself to believe that to even give peace a chance, even with your understanding of Islam in the Middle East back in the 1990s?
Well, I became leftist in 1982 when I saw the first Lebanese war, the first war in Lebanon, when Begin didn't know even how Sharon, the Minister of Defense, and Rafael Eitan, who was then the Chief of Staff, how Rafael and Sharon actually lied to Begin. He was not in the picture, he didn't know what is happening, only what they told him. They kept him out from knowing. And when I saw the way in which this war was conducted and managed by these two people, I decided that these people should not be let, run the country, even for a farm, because they are irresponsible. So I became leftist because of that war, what happened in that war. Yet, when I saw the Oslo agreements, after I was released from the army, I returned and I knew the difference. Sharon and Raful, in 1982, they were mistaken by running the war in the way they did. They had their information, they didn't understand it, and they conducted the war in the wrong way, but not out of bad intention. They didn't have bad intentions. While Oslo agreements are based on bad intentions. Because those who believe in Arafat and believe that he left terrorism and left the war against us, definitely should not have any access to government, because they knew everything. They knew, they were warned, and they didn't listen.
And I remember, again, I was already protesting against the Oslo peace process back in 1993 in the streets. My family was out protesting. I was already telling everyone it's going to bring more terror, it's going to bring more bloodshed, it's going to push peace further away. And I remember hearing about the recording of Yasser Arafat in, I think it was a mosque in Johannesburg,
yes.
when he said in Arabic to a mosque, when they were angry at him, why did you sign these peace accords with the Jews? And he said, what are you talking about? I'm following Muhammad. It's temporary peace, just like Muhammad did, in order then to attack when they're weak. Meaning the information was out there, and I was screaming this.
No, this information was concealed by the government for a while.
But somehow I was on top of it. Whoever knew. Same thing. We're fighting against the established media and what government wants us to know, what doesn't want us to know.
They are engineering our minds already then.
Right. Just like they're engineering our minds today that we have to give Gaza over to the Palestinian Authority, even though there's no difference between Hamas and the Palestinian Authority, which we spoke about in a previous video.
Yeah.
So watch the previous video about Dr. Kedar's explanation about what's going on today, or how October 7th happened. Unbelievable story. Well, Dr. Kedar, I'm very glad that you were able to share your personal story with us.
Thank you so much, Avi, for bringing it. And look, this is a message to everyone who lives in La La Land, lives in dreams, lives in hopes. Hopes, dreams are not something which you can base foreign policy on. Foreign policy should be based on information, on real analysis, of not taking, all kinds of risks. Because if you take risk, it might, be realized, the risk that you're going to fail.
And
so
that
don't take risks.
That brings up the next talk we're going to have, because I know you have to go, but if you have 2 words, how was there such a failure of Israelis' intelligence? They knew all the information, and they ignored it.
Well, they were
for
caught
what happened on October 7th.
They were caught in conception that Hamas are deterred, and Hamas are contained, and Hamas will not do anything against their interests. Don't forget, Hamas ruled the Gaza Strip for 16 and a half years. Every morning, or most of the mornings, look like the previous evening, or the previous day. And you get used to it. You get used to such a situation which lasts for years. And you ask them, why should tomorrow be different from yesterday?
No, I hear that in a logical way, but still, you had the tatzpitaniyot, you had the spotters, all the female IDF soldiers every day saying, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, and officers actually telling them, and this was reported in Israeli news, threatening them, stop telling us what's happening, we don't want to hear it anymore. You guys are crazy, stop telling us what they're doing about the bombs and the training, we don't want to hear it. And totally ignoring, even threatening them for doing their jobs.
Yeah, because what they informed did not go along with a general belief that Hamas are deterred and contained. And this is unfortunately what happened. This is why you have to listen really to what, and by the way, some surveillance lines were closed during the last year. So also the intelligence units closed them, thinking that they didn't need them. Deterred and contained.
Unbelievable. All right, that's a whole other talk for another time. Dr. Kedar, thank you so much once again. Always a pleasure to hear your insight. I hope you all appreciate hearing his insight. Signing off for another episode of the Pulse of Israel here in our eternal and ancestral homeland, the land of Israel, in our eternal, beautiful, biblical, and indivisible capital, Jerusalem, since King David's time. If you are not yet a subscriber to my Pulse of Israel videos, just visit pulseofisrael.com and click to subscribe. And if you like this video, want to help us get it seen by many more people, just click on the donate button every once in a while on the pulseofisrael.com website. Shalom, everyone, and thanks for watching.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.